Good morning, boys and girls. This is the last lesson in Chapter 8. You're almost done. So we'll be taking our weekly work check to review all of Chapter 8 soon enough. You're going to graph inequalities. Now, I just have to tell you, this is one of my very favorite things to do because it's just quite simple, but it's kind of fun because you get to draw these little arrows and stuff. So I think you'll like it. Your objective is I can represent situations of algebraic inequalities on number line diagrams. Draw some number lines. First of all, I want you to think of a synonym for the word infinite. Think about it. Infinite. What's another word for that? Here's a couple that I thought of. Endless. Eternal. Forever. Ongoing. Let's see if I can think of any more. Those are the first ones that came to my mind. If you have any more, raise your hand and let me know, and I'd love to add them to my list. But these are words for infinite. They just keep going on forever and ever. That there's no limit. Ooh, let's do limitless. I like that one. And that's in inequalities because there's so many options. When I have an inequality, it can have infinite solutions, endless, ongoing, limitless solutions. But there are some rules it has to follow. So you can use a number line to show possible solutions to an inequality. Look at your number line here. See these arrows? That means that it keeps on going. It's going to keep on going until forever. It goes on forever. So, and both directions. This is going to go positive 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way until infinity. This is going to go on negative, -3, -4, -5, all the way into infinity. So when I have x is less than 2, there's a lot of options for that. If x is less than 2, I can represent all of those solutions on this number line here. Let me switch markers real quick. I want to have this one. So what I need to do is I need to find 2 on my number line. Here's 2. Okay? And x is any number that's less than 2. And that will go on forever. And that's how to graph an inequality on a number line. Any number, x, is any number that's less than 2. Oops, that was kind of weird looking. That's less than 2. So I found 2, and all those numbers that are less than 2, they could be the inequality answer. One thing you need to know is when you're graphing these inequalities, sometimes you'll have less than or equal to, like this. Excuse me. And if it's less than or equal to like that, you need to leave your circle open. This will make more sense in a second. If it is less than or greater than, then you need to keep the circle open. If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you close the circle. So for example, y is greater than or equal to 5. I would have my number line like this. I'd have this number line. This is just a quick sketch. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 5 is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, then I would come in and I would give myself a closed-in circle, and y is anything less than. Okay? So that's this circle right here. This is what I'm talking about. If your inequality is an equal to or less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you close in the circle. If it is just a less than or greater than, you leave an open circle there. So I think with a couple more examples that'll make more sense. But that's just one of the rules to remember is my circle open or closed? Okay. So here you're going to graph this solution. Y is less than 4. I want you to just try this one. I'm going to give you a step-by-step procedure in just a second, but just try it because I think you're going to see that it's not too difficult. Y is less than 4. Go ahead and try it. Make sure you write down your number line in your examples. or in your notebook. Okay. All I need to do is first I'm going to find 4 on my number line, because that's the number we're looking at. Here's 4. Then I need to say, is this going to be a filled in circle or an empty circle? Because it's not less than or equal to, I'm just going to leave it empty. It's an open circle. And y is less than 4. So any number less than, that would be numbers like 3, numbers like 2, numbers like 1, like 0, like -1, -2, -3, and infinitely more. And that is how to graph that inequality. Okay. Here's your 3 steps to write down in your notebook on the left side. Step 1, you're going to find the number on the number line. Step 2, decide, is the circle empty? And that's when you have these ones. Or is it filled in? And that's when it's these ones here. Okay? Then draw the circle. Then decide which way the arrow faces and color in the arrow. My favorite way to do this is to really think about, is it less than or is it greater than? But you'll also notice, like, y is less than 4. Your arrow is the same way, it's pointing the same way as this little symbol. So less than goes this way. Y is greater than, oops, that was wrong. Y is greater than 4 will go this way. So it will point the same way as your inequality, assuming that your variable's on this side. If your variable's on the other side, that trick doesn't work. Okay? But let's go try an example. Here we're going to graph the inequality. Sometimes these are fractions, sometimes decimals. That's okay. We can still do this. W is less than or equal to 0.8. Step 1. Find the number. 0.8, 0.8. Here it is. Step 2. That's right here. You're going to decide, is your circle filled in or empty? Because it isn't equal to, it's going to be filled in. Fill in my circle. Step 3. Which way does my arrow go? W is less than 0.8, so we're going to do all the numbers to the left. And that's all. Okay? Write this in your notebook. Make sure you have your little number lines. They don't have to be perfect. They can be quick sketches. I understand number lines are kind of have to be perfect. So here you're going to graph the inequality. I didn't give you a number line. I want you to draw your own number line and then graph with the arrow on top of it. Okay? Oh wait, sorry. This isn't a try problem. This is an example. So if I was to graph this inequality, first of all, I'm going to look at drawing a number line. -3. So I have to have -3 on here somewhere. I'm going to start with 0, -1, -2, -3, and then let's put in some positive numbers over here. Okay, that'll work. Now, I like to switch colors. You can use colored pencils to show that you're using different colors. If not, you'll just have to write bolder. Step 1, find -3 on the number line. Here it is. Draw my circle. Is it empty or filled in? Looks like it's going to be filled in because of my greater than or equal to sign. Now n is greater than or equal to -3. So I want numbers bigger than -3. So I want my arrow to go this direction. Now you'll notice I'm making this a thick line to show that it's different than just the regular number line. And that's how to graph this inequality. Any of these numbers are solutions. Continuing onwards from 3, 4 is a solution, 5 is a solution. Infinite solutions on this number line here. Oh, you get a chance to try it. N is greater than or equal to 1.5. This one's a little trickier because you can't see 1.5 on the number line, but there is a little mark to represent 1.5. Go ahead and try it. Okay, let me check your work. So, step 1, find 1.5 on the number line. First of all, you should say to yourself, 1.5 is positive. So I know it's going to be to the right of 0. I know it's going to be more than 1, but less than 2. So it's going to be right here in the middle. It's going to be a half. Get my marker, 1.5. Now, empty or closed. This is a greater than or equal to, so I'm going to have a closed circle Sorry, all these examples seem to be closed circles. And then n is greater than 1.5. So it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 4.5, it could be any number that is greater than 1.5. And that's all you have to do on that problem. Go ahead and try this one. We'll do this as a try it problem. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to write that in. C is less than or equal to negative 0.4. You'll have to draw your time or number line first, and then graph the inequality. Go ahead and do so. Okay. First, I'm going to draw my number line. Looks like I have a negative number, so I want to make sure I have that there. I'll start with 0. These are my 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Those are my positive numbers. Here's my negative 0.1, my negative 0.2, my negative 0.3, and my negative 0.4. You'll notice I didn't put 0.4. I could have. Not necessary. Sorry. It's kind of my lazy way of doing it. Finding negative 0.4 on the number line. It's negative 0.4 over here. It is a closed circle. And we're looking for numbers that are less than negative 0.4. So it's going to be a little tiny, oops, barely even fits on my number line here. But it's going to go that direction. Okay? Should have made my number line a little bit bigger. I didn't. Ugh, it's kind of ugly. Sorry. But as long as you have a closed circle on negative 0.4 and you're pointing to the left, you are correct. Okay. You will see some problems like this. They're not too bad. Let me show you how to do it. You're going to look at the graph, then write the inequality it represents. So you kind of take a step backwards. Well, where is the circle? The circle here is on negative 2. So we're going to say our variable, let's just use x. X is something negative 2. Is it greater than, less than, or equal to? Well, it looks like it's talking about numbers less than. So x is less than negative 2. Now, double check, is your circle closed or open? It is open, so I'm going to leave it as just less than, not less than or equal to. And that's all I have to do for that. So just a reminder, I found the number, I used a variable, then I decided that x is less than negative 2. I decided that this is not a less than or equal to based on the circle was open. So you go ahead and try it now. Notice that this number is not on negative 8 or negative 6, it's in the middle. Go ahead and try this on your own. Okay. One of my favorite things about these when we get to write our own inequality is I get to pick my variable. I'm going to pick j. Now j is something, where's my number? Looks like I had negative 8 and negative 6. What comes in the middle would be negative 7. And I had any number that was greater than, so j was greater than negative 7. And it looks like it was colored in, so greater than or equal to negative 7. And there's my answer. All right, last one. This one has endless possibilities because you're going to write and then graph your own inequality. So come, when you're done, raise your hand, check it off with me. Make sure that you have your inequality written, like something x is less than 2, and then show it to me on a graph, okay? Totally not accurate. If you show me that, you're going to be wrong. So do your own example, and then when you're done, check it off with me, and you can get started on your next practice work. Hopefully you enjoyed this lesson, and this whole chapter is now complete. So great work. Make sure you ask questions so that you are ready for your weekly work check. Thank you so much, boys and girls. Have a great day of learning.